Hi, I'm Extraayogurt and welcome back to another speed build. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're not new, then welcome back and thanks for checking out my video again. And today we have the longest video I've ever uploaded on my channel thus far. My second longest upload now would be my Sims 2 house building tutorial if you guys want to check that out. But yeah, so this video is like the length of 2 movies combined, which is kind of crazy. But if you do plan on watching the whole thing, then I guess sit back and relax and enjoy. And if you don't plan on watching the whole thing, I just wanted to say, if you don't hear me say anything else in this video, I just wanted to share that I made my very first own recolors for the first time, and I made a lot of them. I made 36 recolors and I use all of them in this build. So this build is kind of special because I wanted to show off my recolors, and if you're interested in checking them out, they will be in the description, and of course by the time this is uploaded, like, I'll have the post up and everything, so you guys can check it out, even if you don't watch the whole video. But yeah, so I learned how to make recolors like 2 days ago from a video uploaded by aaand, and she made an incredible how-to tutorial on how to make recolors, and it helped me so much. I'll link that in the description as well for you guys if you guys want to make your own recolors and give it a try. It was a very comprehensive guide, and her videos overall are just super good quality and very helpful, so I highly recommend checking that video out. But this build is also very unique to me because I used a lot more CC than I usually do. If you guys watch my videos, then you know I don't want to say I have an aversion to CC, but I really try not to use it, or I try to use it very sparingly, because I know that not everyone likes to use it in their lots, and I like to just see the game as is for the most part, or like Maxis matchy type stuff. So that's another reason this build is a lot different, because I feel like I used quite a bit of CC by my standards, but it's still not like a groundbreaking amount. But I will say, if you are not willing to download, let me not say not willing, but if you're not interested in downloading any CC, any recolors for this build, anything, I don't recommend downloading this lot, because the recolors are kind of what makes it come to life, and you guys will see as I'm building. With every piece of CC that appears on the screen, I will go ahead and add on the screen a photo of like the page where I got it from, or a photo of it if it's mine, of course, just so you guys can, I don't know, I know I always say just check the description for the download links, but I feel like I want to kind of give those creators more credit than just a link, and actually show you guys like their web page and wherever I got it from. So look out for that. And right, so let's get into the build. Sorry, I've talked so much. So this plane, some of you guys are gonna get a kick out of this and think this was really funny, but I really wanted to build a plane without CC. And so at first I thought this was really silly and kind of a dumb idea, but I just thought to myself, you know, like, let me just give it a try, you know, like, either you guys will really like it, or you'll at least see the humor in it. So I really wanted to have an accessible CC-free plane for your Sims to kind of explore, and that's what this contraption is that I'm building right now. And well, the funny thing is, the Sims, when I had my Sims visit this lot, they really gravitated towards this plane because they all wanted to sit in it and watch the TV screens, which I just thought was so funny. So There was a little bit of like a traffic backup, but yeah, I think my Sims really enjoyed the plane, so I'm sure your Sims will too. And then also, I'm sorry guys, I have so much to preface for this build just because it's a massive build. Also, if you feel like your computer can handle downloading this, please go for it. Test out the lot, check it out, let me know what you thought of it. However, this is not a build that I really, you know, it's not meant to be a practical build, and it's more of kind of a way for me to just see what I can do and kind of showcase what I can do, and really in general what we all can do in our Sims games. So just to kind of inspire everyone on their building journey or their Sims journey or whatever it is. So yeah, I don't expect everyone to be able to run this lot, but if you can, you know, let me know how you liked it. If your game didn't like it, if your game crashed, I'm so sorry. This just happens to be a massive lot with a lot of objects, and there's really no other way around it. So I was actually surprised that my game ran it so well, but yeah, so here I am just kind of creating the plane shape, and I used very briefly a little bit of the constrained floor elevation cheat to add the overcarriage where you would typically put your baggage. And other than that, I mean, anybody could build this plane, guys. Like it was pretty simple. It's like a conversation piece, let's say that. But yeah, so on the topic of Maxis recolors or recolors in general, so something that I learned today while I was mid-editing, you know, I was looking through like my Sims package files and everything, and I don't know why, but it's just now dawning on me that Maxis recolors cannot be included with lots. And I'm sure if I'm wrong, someone please correct me, but Maxis recolors cannot be included with lots. And for years, I mean since 2021, I thought that they were automatically just included if you put them on the lot. So I went down a rabbit hole of going through all of my posts, every single post on Tumblr, on YouTube, on Mod The Sims, and like fixing the download instructions and fixing all the downloads, because this whole time I thought my any Maxis recolors I used on a lot were already being attached to the lot. But for some reason that's not the case. And if anyone knows a way to attach Maxis recolors to package lots, please let me know. But because of that, you guys will have to download any Maxis recolors used first and then download the lot package file, if that makes sense. So like, even if the creator allows their content to be included with lots, it's like impossible for you to include any Maxis recolors with lots. But yeah, so that I spent hours on that today, and I just started being really nitpicky with all my posts, and yeah, so this build has really opened my eyes to some things that I'm glad it did now. And you know, I'd rather be finding this out now than, you know, 40 builds later and I'm still telling you guys like, oh yeah, the recolors included with the lot, when that's not a thing. So gosh, I'm sorry guys that I'm rambling so much. Not only did I just drink coffee, but I wrote down a few notes for this voiceover, which I don't usually do. And so I'm actually prepared to talk a lot because we have 3 hours together. So yeah. And like I said, like, I know this is a really long video, but I am a huge fan of long form content. I live for long form content. I've heard people say that short form content is like ruining people's attention spans, or like it's like taking over, but I don't know, I just find it hard to believe, because I never, like, short form content is okay, and I understand it can definitely be addicting, like doom scrolling, but I have never ever lost my love for long form content. I can watch an 8-hour stream, but the key is to, you know, have it on in the background while you're doing other things, and it's kind of something to like keep you company. So I'm kind of hoping that's what this video is for a lot of people, especially if you're starting on a big Sims build, or you're just playing Sims, or you're studying or sleeping, and you want to have a video on. This is a perfect video for that. So yeah. So guys, another thing I want to talk about is how the reason maybe it seems like I'm moving very quickly through the layout of this build, although it's like really massive. I actually rough drafted this build before even starting the real thing, and the rough draft build took me forever because not only was I trying to, like, I was doing my research on airports, which it took me down another rabbit hole that was really interesting but really time consuming, but I was using the rough draft as a way to know what recolors I needed to make, what CC I wanted to download, and how I wanted to space everything out. So I really, you know, using a huge lot like this, which by the way is the biggest lot in the game, I didn't want any wasted space. I wanted to make sure that I was using the right size of lot, and if I could go smaller, I would have definitely gone smaller, but I wanted every element of a real airport. So if I hadn't rough drafted this lot first off, we would be, what are we, we're only 13 minutes in. We would probably be like 30 minutes in, and I'd have barely gotten anything done. I mean, yeah. But also I take a really long time to build. I'm sure you guys have noticed that. But I really, I feel like I really needed to scratch that itch of wanting to do a really big, ridiculous build again, because that's, I don't always enjoy doing it. I'm not always in the mood to do it, but I was definitely in the mood for it this past week. And yeah, so this has been a multi-day ordeal that I've really enjoyed, not just because of the build, but because making the recolors, I just wanted everything to be perfect, and I wanted to really use my creativity to try to make some interesting things that people would actually want in their game. So yeah, I was gonna include a little snippet of my rough draft build, but it's just imagine this build but a lot uglier and like half furnished and very wonky. So so yeah, so everything that's in this lot. So there is a ticketing, well, first off, there's the overhang, which obviously, you know, all airports have the passenger pickup and drop off, like drive through. And then you have the ticketing and check-ins section where, like, you know, you check in, you get your tickets, you drop your bags off, you check your bags or whatever. And then you have a full-blown, there's a full-blown TSA security checkpoint. I don't know if TSA is what it's called across the world. Probably not, but it's a security checkpoint where you get like metal, like they put you through the metal detector and your bags through the X-ray scanner thing. anyways, there's that, and then it goes into the bathrooms, a little coffee shop, and then once you go upstairs, you are greeted with a bookstore, a clothing store, a fast food restaurant. There's 2 separate gates that I managed to squeeze in there, and then there is a upstairs like kind of VIP airport lounge, which I know is a pretty common thing at big airports. And yeah, so the restaurant in here is a fully functioning restaurant, and when I had my Sims visit this lot, the Sims really gravitated towards the restaurant as well. So pretty much the focal point of this build to the Sims was the plane and the restaurant, so be prepared for those to be like the popular spots on this lot, because of course, like you know, the ticketing and check-ins, TSA, and also baggage claim. I forgot to mention baggage claim. They're really nice. They're really pretty, great for storytelling, but there's no functionality there really besides a bunch of objects and some NPC Sims behind cash registers. So naturally, you know, your Sims are going to gravitate towards what's functional. But yeah, so there's that, and then yeah, so the gates that I made. So I decided that I was going to have 2 separate airlines, and when I was thinking of airline names, I kind of when I was thinking of airline logos, I kind of used American Airlines and Spirit as my inspiration. And when you guys see the airline logos I made, you'll definitely see how I got my inspiration from them. But I named one Plum Air, and then the other Simflight Airlines. So I thought it was cute. I think you guys are really gonna get a kick out of some of the stuff that I put in here. So yeah. So another thing I wanted to mention was, while I was, like I said, going down that rabbit hole of trying to correct all of my uploads, I mean, all of them since 2021, I was cringing hard. Like some of my builds aged really well to me, but some of them, I just thought to myself, like, it's crazy that when I built this, I thought it was the best thing ever. And now looking at it, there's so much that I would change. So I think it's just funny, like, how our builds progress in The Sims. It would probably be really funny if we were all able to see, like, our builds from when we were kids versus our builds now. Even if you don't consider yourself a like good builder or whatever, like you'd probably be just as surprised by your old builds as well. But yeah, and then just a random side note, Mod The Sims. So that is Mod The Sims is one of the best designed websites in my opinion, and how easy it was for me to navigate the website and make so many minute little changes in a short span of time was just amazing. Like I don't know how to describe it. Like you really have to give the like coders or programmers of that website their props, because the updates that they've made over the years, it's just gotten better and better and better. And I remember the upload process used to be a lot more difficult than it is now, but now it is super easy, super smooth and seamless. So if you're a part of the Sims community and you're not on Mod The Sims, I highly recommend that you get on Mod The Sims. I also think it is where a lot of fellow Sims 2 enjoyers reside, and where we all like to share our builds. and it's much more of a, I feel like, unified place, whereas on Tumblr you really kind of have to search for like the people you want to follow. But on Mod The Sims, it's all there. Like every time you go to the homepage, you just see everything. So I find it really nice. By the way, I'm sorry if you can hear my cats in the background. I've noticed, like, over my last few videos, they just make so much noise, and my mic happens to pick up everything. So I apologize for that. But on the topic of Sims 2 community and the Sims 2 like websites and stuff, the Sims 2 subreddit is also a really, really great place to go to just enjoy others' Sims games, I guess, because the unique thing about the Sims 2 subreddit is that it's a place where everyone shares everything about their game, everything and anything. So whereas a lot of people's Tumblr, YouTube, Mod The Sims is where we like to typically share like our best and like the good moments in our game and the nice things in our game. The Sims 2 subreddit is really like anything goes. Like you just upload anything and it's really fun to see how other people play their game. And it's also a great place to learn more about the game because, as we know, there's always something to learn in The Sims. But yeah, I just wanted to share that. I just wanted to like reiterate, guys, one of my whole goals for making this channel, well, pretty much my whole goal for making this channel was to keep The Sims 2 alive, because I just feel like there's so many of us that agree that Sims 2 is the best, and we need to find each other and we need to congregate here. So yeah, back to the build. I have just been yapping. I'm sorry, guys. Here I am putting all of the floor to ceiling windows on the back side of the airport. You guys saw me do that zigzag wall thing at the front. That literally it's just to give the front of the airport something more interesting than a flat wall, because I knew for certain I did not want windows there. I'm very used to airport terminals having this style where all of the windows are only on the back side of the airport, where the gates are and things like that. So I'm sure there's like maybe a security reason behind it, but or some kind of reason behind it, but yeah, I just went with what I know, and I like how it came out. Also, if you are thinking about clicking off this video soon, let me tell you, if you just want to go ahead, skip to the end and see the build, like you could probably skip to, I'm looking at my video right now, you could probably skip to like 2:45 or maybe a little bit later, and that's when the cinematic shots start. And then I took 170 something screenshots that I put at the end. So if you just want to see the build all finished, you can skip to that part too. But for the rest of you who are here with me for the whole time, let's continue. So here I am just adding some flight line markings that I kind of made up, but also sort of observed from everything I looked up and everything I researched about airports. And I think it looks all right. In the end, you guys will notice that I added some custom airport neighborhood deco that completely adds to the look of the lot. And even though that's not on the lot, so it's not included with the lot, I'm still gonna link it in the description so you guys can check that out and download it for yourself if you'd like. But yeah, so I used a combination of that custom airport stuff and some Maxis airport deco and created a big extension of the flight line and added more planes and everything. And of course, I haven't even said anything about this yet because I've been talking so much, but I added a air traffic control tower, and this is where ground control would be and where obviously the main air traffic control people would be, overseeing all the planes. I added one little bathroom in here, a break room, a little kitchenette, just, I figured like for the Sims that would be working in this building, they probably can't leave for a while, so they need to have all those little additions. When I had my Sims visit this lot, I did not see anyone go to the air traffic control tower, so but yeah, it definitely adds to the airport feel and the airport look a lot, even if it's just decorative. All right, guys, I had to take a little break from talking, but I'm back now. So, excuse me. So, excuse me, guys, sorry. Those, where I put the foundations with the black floor covering over them behind the check-in desks and over in baggage claim, just imagine those as like the bag conveyor belt that goes from the inside to the outside, where, you know, like the baggage people pick it up and put it under the plane. So I thought that was kind of a good way to represent that. And then I put those little open for business shelves by the counters right there, doubled up on either side, to kind of represent the baggage claim scales, where you sit your bag on top of, and then they make sure it's not overweight. So yeah, I just had to use a little bit of creativity and try to make the objects work for me. And there you guys can see my first appearance of my first recolors. Those two little airline logos there. On the left you have SimFlight Airlines, on the right you have Plum Air, and then these two pictures right here are also recolors I made that are actually screenshots of South Valley City. And one thing I noticed in airports is a lot of times they will use like really nice, beautiful either photos or murals or some kind of illustration of of the place where the airport's at, because that's kind of like the airport's special thing, you know, is the location that it's in. So I made sure to display South Valley City in a way that looked really nice. That's also part of the download set, which I'm gonna put on the screen right here, or a picture of it at least, until I get the actual post up. So yeah, set of 36 signs that I made specifically for this build. It doesn't just include airport signs, it also includes a few others, but it is mostly geared towards airports. So you guys can make your own airports and you'll have all the signage for it. And one thing about airports is it is all about signage. Literally, an airport without signs is nothing. It's a mall. So, well, besides the plane, but you guys know what I mean. So yeah. And then here, you see me make my first attempt at making a little self check-in booth. I end up deleting those little bits of wall there. Actually this whole area ends up looking so much different than how it looks right here. And you know, I feel like there's some things I could cut out to really make my videos shorter, but I don't know why, I just don't want to. Like, I really want you guys to see my full building process, because that's what I like. That's what I like to see from others. So I just, you know, I figured I'd upload the kinds of things that I like to see myself. So yeah. All right, you guys. So breaking news really quickly. This morning, this is the next day, by the way, I'm recording this, but this morning I woke up to someone on Tumblr had posted a YouTube video that the LA Chargers football team posted, and the video wasn't available, but they said they were saying like they did this in Sims 2. Like, what? Why? I was like, wait a minute. Sims 2 and football in the same sentence? Like, it's not making sense to me. So I clicked on the link and I went on YouTube and watched the video, and sure enough, I guess I don't know anything about football, guys. Nothing against football. You know what's funny is I used to play football in high school, and like full-fledged football. I was one of 2 girls on the football team in high school, and I couldn't tell you a single thing about football today, but back then I might have known a little bit more. But anyway, so I don't know a thing about professional football and like how it works, but I guess they do like their schedule releases every year. And so I guess for this year, they had chosen to do a Sims 2 video, like a machinima, like with Sims 2. I don't know if anyone else is freaking out about this, but that blew my mind. And I'm like, okay, like, it's probably just, I didn't know what to expect from the video, but I didn't expect much. But I watched this video and they went all out. I mean, whoever is on their PR team or marketing team needs a raise right now, because they literally, I mean, full blown CC, like so much CC, custom CC, like literally, and then the way that they filmed it, like you could tell, like whoever made this plays The Sims 2, like not just used to play it, but they play it. So which one of you guys is it? Like, what? Does somebody know who this might have been? Like, what creator? Because that is not, you can tell by the way that they filmed it that it's not like they just learned that same day how to play The Sims 2. Like, no, they know how to play. And it wasn't just like, I mean, it wasn't just regular Sims 2. Like, they used a lot of CC. Even a lot of the townies had like custom CC hairs. I'm still shook, and it brought me so much joy. By the way, I'll put a picture up on the screen right here, but you guys need to go and check that out. It's also number 8 on trending on YouTube, which is really exciting for us. So I consider today a pretty big day for us Sims 2 fans, specifically Sims 2 fans and Sims fans in general. But it's a lot more common to see Sims 4 mentioned than Sims 2, and it just brought me so much joy. That's really what I needed to start my day. So you guys check it out and let me know what you thought of it. I was really impressed. I was really, really impressed. I mean, I never in a million years would I have expected these two worlds to collide. So so they earned themselves definitely a few new fans after that video. So anyway, so here I am putting in some skylights, or whatever you want to call it, skylights. This flooring is by Jenny Hayes on Mod The Sims. I'm gonna put a picture up right here. And the download, I can't remember if it comes in a set or, yeah, I think it does come in a set. And they give you a bunch of different options for transparent floor tiles. And this one is just the natural variation. So as you can see in the web, on the post that I put up, there's a bunch of different colors, but there's also just, excuse me guys, sorry. There's a bunch of different colors, but there's also just a natural variation like the one I'm using. And so shout out to them for that. It's a really great item that I do like to use here and there. So yeah, I put that on both the ceiling and the rooftop, of course, because the way the game is not registering that it's a see-through tile. Like, you have to still put it on both the ceiling and wherever you're putting it, but to make like a floor tile sandwich, basically. So you guys know how much I love making sure that there's coverings on my ceilings. So this bit right here, although it did take quite a bit of time, it's a little bit tricky to get the right angles. It absolutely adds to the build 100%. Once you guys see the screenshots, I'm sure you guys will agree for sure. So yeah, it's a really nice piece of CC. All right, so these little random like Minecraft blocks of foundations that I put down are meant to be like my little custom coffee tables, and the reason I did that is because I wanted, well, it's not so much a coffee table, but more of like it's more like a decorative piece, I guess you could say. I end up putting plants on them, and it's like you could lean on there, like set your bag down there. I don't know, I just wanted something a little bit bigger than like a dainty coffee table. And then here I am, I use Move Objects On and my Shiftable Everything mod to place these TVs. Now, my intention, like what I'm trying to do is make the like self check-in booths that you see at the airport. So I have one on each side, and I give them each their own airline logo. And then of course at the front desk, there's also like ticketing computers. So I put them up there. And sorry guys, excuse me. And I've mentioned this before, but you don't have to have the Shiftable Everything mod to like have the objects appear like this in your game. It just happens with or without it, since I already placed them that way. Now, if you delete it, you won't be able to place it back, but unless you have the mod. But anyway, yeah, I felt like that was a pretty decent way to kind of capture the little ticketing idea. And then here I am placing more of my recolors. Those are my 3 of the advertisements that I made. I'm so proud of these guys. I cannot tell you enough. So these 3 ads in particular, I made a suitcase ad, I made a plain food ad, and I made a VPN ad. And so with the suitcase ad right there, I just took a picture of South Valley City by the lake, and then I took pictures of some suitcases, and I put like suitcases as adventurous as you are. I thought that was cute. So and then for the VPN ad, I just took a picture of the mouse toy from the game, and I put it on a blue background, and it says malware can be as quiet as a mouse. Stay protected with Mousetrap VPN. And I'm sure you guys have seen VPN ads around the mall or like the airport before. And then for the one with the lobster and the turkey on it, first off, I had my sim Raven cook that food, and she nearly burnt her house down, thank goodness. I did have a fire alarm installed, because I sometimes I forget to put that in. But she almost burned down the house trying to cook for that advertisement. So anyway, that one is meant to be like a SimFlight Airlines ad, and it says plain food that isn't plain food. I know, I thought I was being clever, guys. So hopefully you guys like how those look, and you'll download them for your own game and use them in your own builds. But yeah, there's many more recolors to come in this build. So okay, so right here, I'm gonna put a picture up on the screen right now, and these are the invisible lights by Nixed Sims. They come in 4 different variations. There is a wall light and a ceiling light, and then there's a soft light and a hard light. So you have 2 of each. I went crazy with these lights. I never knew how badly I needed some invisible lights in my game, and these were just incredible and surprisingly easy to find, if that makes sense. So, you know, the worry with placing invisible things is that what if you want to remove it? Like, how do you find it? You just you can tell very clearly where the light source is coming from, even if you put a bunch. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, so those are included with the download. The glass floor tiles are included with the download. So yeah, thanks to that creator, these are amazing, and I put a million of them on this lot. I don't even want to know like if those lights like were to magically turn uninvisible, I don't even want to know how many lights there would be just floating around everywhere in this build. But for you simmers who really like to do like these 2-story builds as much as like I love to, these invisible lights are a must, because it can be really tricky trying to illuminate your first floor when there's no ceiling. And before, my workaround for that was just to put like pieces of floor tile and have it extending off from the walls to make it look like it's part of the building. And that's not bad, don't get me wrong, it's not bad, but sometimes you don't always want that. So here you see me I put the security checkpoint sign above the TSA area, and I'm putting up the ticketing and check-ins sign as well. And I'm just so excited about these recolors, guys. I really hope you guys download them and use them and love them, because I had a great time. Oh yeah, and for the recolors I made, on any recolor with Simlish on it, I used a Simlish font from, give me one second, from AJ Sims on Tumblr, and I will put that on the screen right here. So I really loved that font. I used it for every single recolor that I used, that I put words on. And yeah, thank you to that creator as well. What would this game be without all these wonderful like creators? I really don't know. So yeah, I used some columns to make it, look like it's hanging from the ceiling and not just floating in midair. I also put it on the outside, on the front, in front of the main entrance as well. So yeah, I mean, these columns might look a little bit weird to you guys. It would be better if they were black, but that wasn't an option. And the light wood just went with all the other light wood elements that I have in this area. So, and then right there, that is the ticketing, and that's another ticketing and check-in sign, but like the smaller scale version that I put outside, because every airport I've been to has had both an inside check-in counter and outside check-in counters, but typically the outdoor check-in counters, it's like there are people working for tips, so it's kind of like a convenience thing. So I just wanted to add that little bit of realism, and yeah, so I deleted a lot of this flooring because like I do want an overhang, but in this area right here, I didn't want to block off any of the signage. So when Sims drive up, obviously they need to be able to see all these signs and stuff. So, but yeah. All right, y'all, so right here you guys can see me putting down the passenger pickup and drop off signs, and I actually only made one sign that says passenger pickup and drop off, when really like I should have made one sign that said pickup and one sign that said drop off, but it's whatever. I'm sure nobody is really that concerned. But yeah, so those are some more recolors that are in that little set that I told you guys about. Can you guys tell how excited I am? I'm sure you guys can tell. But not only did I have a blast making my first recolors and like getting to be so creative, and by the way, the little the little, I guess, graphics that I used, those come from Canva. I have a Canva subscription, and I use a lot of elements from Canva. So like little things like the plane shape, or like the icons next to the words and stuff. I did not make those. Those come from Canva, and they can be used. I don't know how to say it, like copyright free, and I made sure of it. So yeah, credits to Canva for the little elements and stuff. What was I saying? But yeah, so not only did I really enjoy making those recolors, but I mean, you guys know I've always really appreciated content creators, because I've never really been much of a content creator myself, as far as like actually making things for the game besides lots. But it gave me, once again, a whole appreciation for creators, because thinking about it, like I'm like, this is me just making something very basic, simple, and flat, even though it does require a little bit of creativity, imagination, like doing a little bit of planning, editing, stuff like that. It's not like, I'm not programming something, or I'm not having to like play test something or stuff like that. I was just like, wow, like this, although it's fun, like this really took me a lot of time. and yeah, so it just gave me a new appreciation for other people's CC that I see online, even though I've always appreciated it. It's I don't know, it was just like one of those things that kind of brings you back down to earth. So right here, you guys can see me struggling to illuminate that sign, and then it was this day that I finally learned that I'm sure you guys are aware of the issue that the game has, where if you move an object up too far or down too far, the lights that you put on that floor suddenly, like, it won't affect that object. Like the object will remain shadowed and like dark. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about, but I learned that the workaround for that is that so for example, if you have an object on the second floor, like I do here, that I moved it all the way down to the ground using the bracket keys that came with Apartment Life. That functionality came with Apartment Life. So I moved it super, super down, like all the way to the ground of the second floor. So now it's dark. Now, like any lights that I put on the second floor will not illuminate that painting or that object. I have to use lights on the first floor to illuminate the object on the second floor. That is, I'm so sorry I explained that terribly, but yeah, you learn something new every day. And I had just happened to learn that on this day. So yeah, just remember, if you have that issue, like, you have to just think of it like, once you're moving an item up or down, once you see it go shadowed or turn dark, now it belongs to the floor above or the floor below it. Now, that being said, if you have something on the first floor and you have no basement, you can't, unfortunately, like, there's not really anything you can do there, and you're just gonna have like a shadowed object. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. So anyway, I added some stools, and that right there, that little section is meant to be where TSA checks your ID and your boarding pass before they let you go through the line into the actual metal detector and putting your bags through. So that's what that is. And I added little stools in front of the screens. Just remember, guys, like, a lot of this it's for aesthetic purposes. Like, your Sims cannot sit on those stools. Your Sims are not gonna watch those TVs. It's just me trying to use my imagination to make things out of the Maxis objects that we have. So I always try to make sure to say that, because I just don't want, I want to manage everyone's expectations. So yeah. And then here, this is where your bags go through. I thought it was kind of cute that I was able to use foundations and shelves and half walls to make it look like that little conveyor that your bags go through. And then on either side, I noticed that there's always the little TSA desks that, you know, on the screen, they usually can see like the x-ray of your bags. Yeah, I guess once I finished the ticketing and check-ins area, I kind of zoomed through this, didn't I? So at the end there, I added some more seating, and that's where you would like, okay, pick up your bags, you know, put the bin back, put your shoes back on, and you know, you get a second to recoup before you go into the terminal. And so you guys can see me placing these ceiling tiles one by one, and let me explain. So sometimes I know I can hold shift. I know I can hold shift to like obviously color entire areas, but I was working section by section because I wasn't sure like what parts of the ceiling that I wanted to be different and stuff. So like if I just held shift, it would have colored that entire floor's ceiling, and I wasn't sure if that's what I had wanted just yet. So yeah, here are some TSA reminder signs that I made. It says like prepare for check-in, and it lists prohibited items and like requirements for the size of bottles, just cute little stuff like that. Right here is this little sign that I made, and it is pretty much the Simlish version of those little attention signs. It's like, attention, be prepared to show your ID, or stuff like that. Your safety is our priority thing. So yeah, as you guys can see, things are looking really bright over here. I love it so much. I'm so glad I found those invisible lights. Okay, so right here, these suitcases, I'm gonna put a picture of the creator's page right here, and these suitcases are from DCAT on Blogspot, and the plain suitcases are the Maxis Match ones. Now these fancy ones, these designer suitcases and luggage, okay, it's kind of a layered thing. One second. So first off, the meshes for the fancy luggage and suitcases are by In a Bad Romance on Tumblr, and I'll put a picture of that here. And then the textures for those meshes are by Royal Sims Creations on Tumblr, and I'll put a picture of that here. And then the person who did the conversion from Sims 4 to Sims 2 and converted the whole thing is by Iolanta Mrs. Moore on Tumblr, and I'll put that picture here. So that whole set, it includes a bunch of really nice designer luggages and bags, plus like this little stack of clothes that's really cute. Now, the bad news. Now this is a great piece of CC. Really glad I used it in my build. However, I am a little bit iffy on the policy for including it with this download, because the person who made the meshes is okay with it. The person who did the Sims 2 conversion is okay with it. However, the person who made the textures, on their page, it says like they allow conversions, but it says, do not include my CC in your download. Do not include my CC in builds you upload on Patreon. So I'm just gonna assume I can't include it. So I'm so sorry, guys. You guys are gonna have to download that one on your own. But it, like everything, always, it will be in the description. And it just sucks because I used that set like a lot for all the baggage stuff. So I'm really sorry about that, guys. I should have double checked on that. But the other suitcases, like the plain Maxis match ones, or they're actually, I'm pretty sure that it's a Maxis object extracted from the game. Those can be included with the download, so you don't have to do anything there. So yeah, another thing I'm not sure of. So if obviously you guys can't answer this right now, but if I remove the fancy luggage from the download using the Sims 2 pack, like clean installer, and then I publish the download, and then you guys download the bags yourself and then download my lot, does it then place those objects on the lot by itself? I'm a little confused. I'm a little blurry on that. So I know I'm asking you guys like as if you could answer right now, but I'm in a second after I finish this portion of the voiceover, I'm just gonna do a little test run in my game and see. But yeah, so that as well as my recolors will have to be downloaded separately. Everything else will be included, however, on the lot. Yeah, so sorry for the long explanation about that. I guess also just to let you guys know, like there are some pieces of CC that have kind of that hierarchy of terms of uses to go through, and I'm really big on respecting those TOUs. Right here I'm using it again in the stacks of clothes. It just looks so nice. It looks so nice. I really hope you guys don't have to like download it and then place everything again, because it's that would be a lot of work. But yeah, as I was saying, I am really big on making sure I'm not doing anything wrong. The last thing I want to do is violate someone's terms of use on accident. Of course, I would never do that on purpose. And then they see my lot floating around and somewhere in the Simverse, or see pictures of it floating around and see that I've violated their TOU, and then they immediately, have a bad taste in their mouth about me. I would absolutely hate that. I know these objects take a lot of work, and it really is that person's baby if they created it. And here I am using them again. Doesn't it look so cool, guys? You guys see why I just felt like I could not go without them. But yeah, I made sure to put some bags inside there to make sure to make it look more like it's in motion, and just adding a few lights. That's another thing with the invisible lights that kind of escaped me for a second, is like, okay, I'm adding all these invisible lights, but I'm forgetting to put actual visible lights as a source of where the light is actually coming from. So a lot of spaces are just illuminated and like we don't know where from. But I did try to include some real visible lights as much as I could. So but yeah, I will be back. I'm going to test out my CC theory and let you guys know. All right, guys, I'm back. So before I talk about the test, this is the little coffee shop that I'm building right now, and those signs are part of the recolor pack. And it does actually, like the sign does actually function as lit and unlit. I'm not really sure how that works. I'm just glad it works that way. So, and I didn't have to do anything extra. So yeah, there's those signs. And then I also made some coffee shop menus that you guys will see here in a second. But anyway, so I am jumping up and down for joy because the test did indeed work. And guys, I'm sure this is common sense for some people, but I feel like I just needed to make sure, that the objects would stay put, so that you don't have to go and place every single object, and so that I know for the future. So I downloaded this really nice piece of CC actually from Michelle, and it was a little toilet paper roll, which my game was actually missing. So I downloaded that CC. I went into my neighborhood. I created a little lot, and I placed these toilet paper roll in the bathrooms. It was literally just a lot with a bunch of bathrooms, and then I saved it. I packaged the lot to a file. Then I exited the game and I cleaned the file, removed that piece of CC, and then I deleted the other version of the file. And so I just had that clean Sims 2 pack file. Then let's see, what did I do? I went back into my game, deleted the lot, made sure, neighborhood was clear. Then I exited the game again. And then I took the Sims 2 pack file, put it on my desktop, took the CC file, put that on my desktop. And so it was basically like, okay, this is how a potential downloader is starting. They don't have any piece of this lot in their game at all, just nothing. So first they download the piece of CC. So I put that back in my downloads folder, and then I put the Sims 2 pack file back in my package lots and installed it. Mind you, this is the clean CC file. And then I went into the neighborhood, put the lot down, went into it, and sure enough, I don't know, I'm trying to understand, how does that work? Because if I'm cleaning a Sims 2 pack file of CC, how does it store, how does it remember where you placed those objects if they're removing those objects? That is just crazy to me. If someone feel free to explain, if someone can explain. I'm not at all worried about if I sound slow or not, because I bet that there are other people out there with the same question as me. So yeah, I just, why Google search it when you can confirm it for yourself? I guess. So yeah. Anyways, there you guys can see the coffee shop signs that I made. I only made 2 variations. I just placed one of them twice, and I apologize. We're kind of working in the dark right now because I always wait till last to add the lights. Also, we're working in a part of the build where there's absolutely no natural light. There's no windows, so that doesn't help. But yeah, I thought it was really cute. I had so much fun making the signs, and all the signs do actually, they do make sense if you change the font back to regular plain print font. And I just had a blast thinking of what to add to the menu and what to call it. This little coffee shop is called Coffee Time. Super creative, I know. And just some really light decorations, nothing crazy. This is actually a lot like the airport near me. This is actually a lot like the layout of it. As soon as you pass through TSA, you're greeted with a cute little coffee shop before you go up into the main terminal or concourse or whatever you call it. So yeah, another thing, the bakery shelves, they don't have any goodies in them. You could put decorative desserts in there or what have you. I just didn't want to add more CC to the lot, and I felt like you guys would get the idea even without me adding fake food in there. Or if your sim dares to make this a business that they own and they can cook and put real food in there. But I actually wonder how that would go. But yeah, it's just a really simple coffee shop. I feel like this is typically the kind of vibe that I go for with the coffee shops, with like kind of that medium to dark wood. It's just a very warm feel. And then the kitchen, quote unquote kitchen, even though no NPCs will be back there, I just figured, little coffee shop, they're going to be making juices, hot cocoa, brewed coffee, espresso. So I also added a toaster oven and a microwave for them to like heat up the little pastries and stuff. So yeah, I love the warm lighting so much. I feel like it fit the coffee shop perfectly. And I'm very thoughtful about where I use hard lights and warm lights, because hard lights look very sterile, and so I know like I only want to use them in places that they're really meant for. Like for example, the security checkpoint and the entrance of the airport, because I don't think I've ever seen warm lighting when I walk into an airport until I get to like one of the shops. So yeah, and then after this, oh yes, we move on to the bathrooms. So this is just men and women's bathroom here. They're pretty small, just 3 stalls each. But on the second story, I have a gender neutral bathroom that is a lot bigger. And once again, it doesn't really matter, because if you're not using any mods or cheats, then there won't be that many sims here anyway. But just for, once again, that realism aspect of having some nice big airport bathrooms. So yeah. Alright, so those are some of the little signs I made for the bathrooms. It's really basic, and I do end up putting the airport terminal maps right here. There they are. I think they're really cute. I just this is the only recolor I made that was honestly kind of a load of just mumbo jumbo as far as like what they actually say, but it looks all right. I'm not mad at it. And the layout on it actually does kind of sort of resemble the actual layout of the build, so I think that's cool. Anyway, so here we are moving up to the second floor, and I know I already listed everything that's in this build, but on the second floor here, right at the top of the stairs, is going to be the bookstore. To the left, when you walk up the stairs, you walk up the stairs, to the left is going to be the bookstore. But I also included elevators. I don't know, I just felt like an airport needs elevators. Of course, not everyone can use the stairs, obviously. Actually did see some nice escalator CC, but I don't know. I guess that's just another one of those things, one of those pieces of CC that I didn't feel was I absolutely needed it. I did not have that strong urge to download it, even though it was really cool. So yeah, that right there in the corner is going to be the clothing store. And then this over here is over there, and that other corner is the fast food restaurant. Sorry guys, voiceover problems trying to keep up with the speed build. But and then that's the gender neutral bathroom that I talked about earlier. That's a lot bigger than the ones downstairs. But yeah, speaking of speed build problems or voiceover problems, I am curious, are you guys happy with the speed of the speed builds? Like, is it too fast, too slow? Because it took me quite a few videos from when I first started uploading to find kind of that sweet spot where the video is not too fast to where like it's hurting your eyes, but also not so slow to where it's just dragging along. So right now I have it at a times 7 speed. Before I used to do it times 10 speed, and I think it was kind of nauseating for some people actually, especially with smaller lots, because I was just whipping around and going all over the place so fast. So let me know how the speed is. This is a times 7 speed, but also keep in mind this is on a really big lot. But pretty much all the videos I've uploaded since I came back after the Lake Breeze Country Club build have been at 7 speed. So if you've been enjoying all the recent videos, then I can assume that you probably are happy with the speed. And then on top of that too is finding the right volume for the background music, as well as the volume for my voice, as well as the volume for the music while I'm not talking, because I do make it a little bit louder. It's really been a learning experience with every little video, just fine-tuning it. And I don't say this enough, I really appreciate all of your guys' comments and feedback and suggestions. I take every single one of them into account. I've never gotten a rude comment. I've never gotten any bad, quote unquote, bad feedback. I really appreciate everyone's comments and thoughts and suggestions, and even just if you're just commenting just to say something that you thought. I love it all, and I really appreciate it, and it makes me so happy to see that others are still enjoying The Sims 2 every day, just like I am. Okay, so this right here is my most proud piece of CC whatever. My most proud recolor is the arrivals and departures boards. I spent an eternity making those. I made every single line, every single row on there. I had to type out and then position it perfectly, and maybe there's better ways to do it than how I did it, but it was so time consuming but so much fun to make, and I'm so proud of those arrival and departure signs. So also for the recolors that I did that are meant to be like TV screens, I added a little special like TV effect to them, so hopefully like it gives more of the illusion of it being a TV and not just a painting. If you're one of those people that has a really good eye for detail, you'll be able to tell. I'm super nitpicky about things, so that was important to me. So anyway, here we are making the bookstore, which you guys would not believe how long this took me for it being so small. It was like I was just fighting with the layout, and then I was like, I don't want it to be too crowded, but I don't want it to be too empty, and I don't know. Oh right, the most difficult part of doing this bookstore was that the recolor, the sign that I made for the bookstore, I chose some wacky colors that I was now trying my best to make the store match the sign to, if that makes sense. So for the sign, I used like a black border, or honestly almost a really dark brown border, and a peach background, cream characters with that dark brown outlining, and then I used a light bulb on it that was turquoise and bright yellow. You guys will see it here in a second. It was the sign looks really nice, but I did not anticipate how difficult it would be to actually there it is right there. I didn't anticipate how difficult it would be to actually make the store complement the sign, and I refused to go back and change the colors. Absolutely not. But so I put a mix of magazine racks and bookshelves, just plain old bookshelves. I was gonna put the game stands just for variety, but I don't know, I guess I just wanted to keep it true to what it is, and that's, you know, a bookstore. So, and then of course, if you're in an airport, you don't have a game console with you. But at first I was gonna make it one of those 2-story shops. I do end up closing that off, just because it was really hard for me to find ways to decorate it or make it look nice, or find the right wallpaper to use, because all of the wallpapers I wanted to use had molding on them, like crown molding, which would then make the upper floor look really funky, having that line of crown molding below it. But yeah. can we believe that after all that time, I finally figured out, I finally finished the bookstore, and it still looks super simple. But I was so determined to get the colors right, and I'm really happy with the outcome. I really like the wallpapers and the lighting I used. So here's the clothing store. The sign, it says South Valley City Sim Outfitters. I believe it says clothes, shoes, and bags. I just thought that was a cute little clothing store style sign. It kind of reminded me of Old Navy, sort of. But yeah. The clothing store part was really quick and simple for me. I feel like because the game has so many good clothing store items because of H&M, the H&M stuff pack. Excuse me, sorry guys. But I really enjoyed it. It is a very I can't really put a label on it, to be honest. It's a nice looking store. I can't imagine what kind of clothes they might sell. I truly, like, just based on how it's designed, I don't really know what vibe I get from it, but it's a nice store. I liked it a lot. So something I wanted to talk about again was just planning out the rest of South Valley City, thinking of what's going to be built. And I have really been loving your guys' suggestions. So someone had, I'm so sorry, I don't have the name right now. Actually, I can look right now, but someone suggested that I do an ice skating rink or roller skating rink and like a teen hangout. And I absolutely love that idea. Okay, Helen Farmer. So Helen Farmer, if you're listening, thank you for those suggestions. I really, really like those. So I definitely need to add ice skating and or roller skating to South Valley City. And as far as like the teen hangout, I'm thinking that I make something that's like, I want to say a club minus like the bar and stuff. So maybe something like that. I'll have to think more on it, but I really like that idea. And then another person had suggested that I do either like a medieval type of build or like a temple build. So like basically like more of a period piece. And that was suggested by Pompo. So Pompo, if you're listening, thank you so much for that suggestion. Also, thank you so much for your comment. That really meant a lot to me. And I love that idea as well. So, yeah, so those builds, in addition to what we already talked about before, South Valley City has a long way to go, you guys. Like, it has a long way to go, and I'm not mad at it at all. I want this city. Well, at first I kind of wanted to rush through it to finish it, but I'm like, we've already spent so long on it. I've already spent like almost a year or over a year on it at this point. So we may as well just keep taking our time and making quality lots, and really filling out the city completely. So we have more restaurants to build. We have a library to build, bowling alley, pool, animal park, standalone clothing stores, the rest of the Simbin homes, which is 5 families. There's 5 families left for that series. Another apartment building, some for lease lots for business sims, a cemetery, of course. I hate cemeteries, but yeah, a cemetery. And then the stuff I mentioned earlier from your guys' suggestions. So we have a ways to go. I will always take more suggestions. Always, always, always. I guess my one stipulation is I really want to make sure that the lots can have functionality, some type of functionality somehow, somewhere. So yeah, I'm really excited. I'm thinking that my next build, I mean, it really just depends on my mood. Honestly, the next build you guys see from me will probably be some more lots in Sunwater, because after doing such a big build, I really feel like kind of unwinding and just doing a nice small build or two. But the next build you guys see for South Valley City probably will be another Homes on the Grid episode. But we will see, because at the end of this month I'm moving, and so I feel like I've been trying to crank out videos and enjoy Sims as much as I can before, like, I'm in that weird week-long moving phase where I can't really sit down and do my recording and do my videos and stuff. But I will be back as soon as I can, because I know I'm gonna really want to hurry and get back to building and uploading and sharing it with you guys. So yeah, I guess we'll see. So Sunwater was actually my 1,000 subscriber gift. So my 500 subscriber gift was my 24-hour Build a City challenge, which was Dusty Lakes, if you haven't seen it. And that was a lot of fun. And so yeah, in case you guys missed it, Sunwater is meant to be my 1,000 subscriber gift. And it's I'm having so much fun building in Sunwater, guys. Just small lots, really simple lots, CC free. It is like a load off of my back to do builds like that. So that's been a lot of fun, and who knows how long we'll be working on that town. Now I'm thinking the next milestone might be 2,000. I'm thinking 2,000. And I don't know what to do for that one. Honestly, I have no idea. I have no clue. If you have any ideas, anything you'd want to see, just let me know. So anyway, as you guys can see, the clothing store is coming together really nicely. And yeah, it has a nice feel to it. I feel like they would sell clothes like Gap. It kind of gives me Gap vibes. Like kind of plain, basic but nice, like kind of between casual and professional clothes. I don't know how to describe Gap. I think Gap has a lot of good basics. Like they don't really have anything that's like a standout piece. It's just a lot of good plain clothes that you can wear with a lot of different things. But yeah, here I am adjusting the mirrors forever and ever. And when I play tested this lot, the Sims moved around here just fine. I know it looks kind of crowded with how many clothing racks I put, but everything was all good. And yeah. All right, guys, so now we have moved on to the restaurant, or the fast food restaurant. And this was another really difficult one, probably the hardest part of this whole build to try to design. I don't know why, but I just could not get the hang of it. So I feel like I kind of took inspiration from like McDonald's, because I don't know if you guys remember it the same way I remember it, but I can't remember what year it was, but it was like, it literally felt like just one random day when all the fast food restaurants decided that they wanted to go like minimal and be super modern. And I remember that day like it was yesterday, because as a kid, like, I loved McDonald's. I loved it so much. What kid didn't love chicken nuggets? But I remember they had all went modern, and they all had the same kind of look to it. And I don't know how to describe it, but it's like modern but fast food. And it's like a good look. It looks good, and it looks a lot more upscale than what it used to look like. But it's so commonly used in fast food restaurants that I feel like that's kind of taken away from its credit, I guess you could say. But you guys will see here in the end, and maybe you guys will get that same kind of vibe, maybe not, but yeah. So I wanted there to be, and this ends up looking completely different in the end, by the way. What I started with is not at all what I ended with, but I wanted there to be a kitchen, or like a full kitchen right behind the counter, because that's something that I noticed, that it's this cheesesteak place. If you guys have heard of it, it's called Charlie's, and they have a full kitchen right behind the counter, and you can kind of see them make your food. And I wanted to have that look, but I still added a proper kitchen. Sorry guys, my cat is in the way. But I still added a proper kitchen, of course, so that it would still have the functionality of a restaurant for your Sims. So yeah, this is another part of the build that I made special recolors for. I made these little food menu signs that are really, really cute. And yeah, so here's the kitchen part. I kept it really small and simple. I've learned that the more simple you can make your restaurant, the better that it functions. And believe it or not, this one little kitchen that I put here, the whole kitchen staff, they spread out. I mean, not only will your Sims end up sitting at this restaurant, but they'll end up being seated downstairs at the coffee shop, and like they'll go down to the coffee shop and like wash their hands there, or like clean up dishes there. And I don't know why, but I love it. It just functions so well, and it makes sure like that the staff always has something to do. So yeah, I actually kind of like that's how it ended up. But yeah, let me know if you guys do download this, what you guys think of how it functions, and what you guys think of like the staff going all over the place. But here's the menus. So I made 3 different recolors. I just used them over and over again, and yeah, I just added those little graphics. And the menu is actually a real menu. I did actually think about what items to put on it, and I hope you guys like it. So yeah. Also, I feel like I didn't mention, when I added the 3rd floor, when I decided that the bookstore was going to be a 1-story shop instead of a 2-story shop, I just did not like that empty space. I just don't like having all that empty space up top. So I just knocked down some walls and I opened it up. And that's how I created that 3rd floor, which is going to be the bar and like a VIP lounge. Now the color of this restaurant, that red and gray and black, It looks cool. I liked using these wall coverings, but I felt like it made the restaurant look too silly. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It just, I don't know. It looked way too much like a fun house. And I wanted it to be more like a serious looking fast food restaurant. Like, think Chipotle. Think Chipotle. Like, the way when you go into Chipotle, it's not like bright colors everywhere, and it's not a super fun looking restaurant. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean like it's contemporary. It's plain. That's just what it is. And I wanted to try to emulate that plain kind of look. So we end up going through 1,000,001 floor and wall coverings, a bunch of different decorations. It takes me a while. But you know, I don't know. I guess I just want to say, like, don't be afraid to take your time with your builds, unless you're in a rush to play. But don't be afraid to really take your time, really think it out, because you will come out with something that you're far more proud of and far more happy with than if you were to have rushed through it. And then rush through it for what? Like, there's no reason. So yeah. Okay, I'm back, guys. So this little wall right here literally gave me hell. It gave me hell because I could not for the life of me figure out what to put there, what made sense, what was not just what looked good, but what was appropriate for what it was. So like at first I thought these little fruit things would be nice, but one or two was not enough. I needed to fill up that space, so I put 4, and then I didn't like how the space between each painting was wider than the space between each painting within each painting. Yeah, I'm sorry guys, either you're gonna love this about my builds or you probably hate it, but I am so nitpicky when it comes to certain builds or certain things that I'm doing. It's just, it has to be exact, which is why I spend so much time panning around without actually doing anything, because I'm just double, triple, quadruple checking things. But yeah, so I apologize in advance for that. There's a light up version of the fast food sign that I made, and yeah, we're not done here yet. It looks like we're getting near to being finished with the restaurant, but we are not done yet, guys. Of course, I had to figure out the lighting situation, and this is where I discovered that thing where if I want to illuminate those photos up top, I have to illuminate the floor below it. And luckily that was very doable, especially with the invisible lights, as you guys can see. And I had to fix the bookstore sign really quick, but I did notice that, I don't know if it's because I put so many lights or what, but I feel like the game was kind of fighting back with me, because sometimes the lights are brighter than other times. Like, it just depends. The lights kind of have a mind of their own, but for the most part they do what they need to do. It's just random times where I would be on the lot and like all of a sudden, like the lights in the restaurant, some of the lights in the restaurant go off and then they come back on. I kind of like, honestly, that's kind of realistic and I don't mind it. So now I was trying to figure out what to do with that big wall there, and I did decide on using those cute little diamond lights, and I used it in black and white, and I just put a bunch of them, and I thought it actually looked really nice. I'm not mad at it. I liked it a lot actually, and I didn't feel like that wall needed anything else. I really just wanted to keep it pretty simple. And as you guys can see, there's not a lot of seating, which is why the staff does end up trying to seat your Sims downstairs where the coffee shop is. But it's comfortable. There's a lot of moving space for everyone, and yeah. And then I tried to use different wall coverings for that big wall on the right side to make it a little more interesting. It was a whole ordeal. But you know, I just, with every tough build, I get a little bit better. So it is what it is, I guess. And then there I am panning through everything again. It's a bad habit of mine at this point, guys. I can't really keep justifying it. It just, I don't know. It scratches the itch that I get to like check to make sure everything's good. So then I tried these paintings, which didn't look bad, but once again, I'm like, it's not appropriate for what it is. Like, those are really nice paintings to put anywhere else, but in a restaurant, like, it doesn't make sense. Why like, I just sometimes I think too deeply about the game. But I think, yeah, so I end up changing this. Oh, and then here I go. I start going through columns and trying to use columns to decorate the wall or add some kind of nice, interesting focal point to it, which honestly maybe would have worked if we weren't so strapped for space in this corner, because there was really nowhere else that I wanted to put the restaurant podium, and it was just right there in the way. You guys see me trying everything to try to make it work. I hated this wall so much. I will never make a wall like this again if I could help it. So I just ended up putting plain wallpaper or plain paint, which I was just like, oh, I was so shocked. I was like, oh, I'm not using a patterned wall of any sort. I removed that flooring above the fake stove exhaust because I did not like how the edge of the floor tile looked, just poking out. It just was unsightly. So finally I was like, wait, why don't I just use more of my restaurant recolors? Duh. So I just put a bunch of those up on that wall, and I was like, you know what? It's not a super cluttered wall, but it doesn't have to be. Like, it's just a restaurant. It's just a fast food place. Yeah, you guys would probably have already skipped through this part, but I am sincerely sorry you have to watch me go through this. Then I end up just adding windows there because that wall looks too blank, and that's a really good way to take up space but still keep it make it look interesting. One more pan through, I guess. And then I added some black carpet under each table just to, like, you know, I imagine it's to like catch the food, keep the wood nice and like in good condition. And then what's a fast food restaurant without these little napkins, ketchup and mustard and salt and pepper things? I love these so much. I'm so glad they added this to the game. I think it looks really nice, and it really adds to the fast food look. Then I added some up at the front counter because that's something I've seen before. And then yeah, I know that the menus look blindingly bright in the daytime, but I promise it's not always like that. It's just I don't know, it's just like that sometimes because the window's shining on it and there's a lot of lights on it, but at nighttime it looks perfect. So now am I moving on to the lounge finally? Okay, yeah, I think I am. So now we're moving on to the VIP lounge, and this part is only accessible by elevator. So if the elevator breaks, too bad, so sad. Although I don't think elevators can break on community lots, can they? I'm not sure, because then who would fix it? But yeah, it's only accessible by elevator because there was just no good space for me to put stairs, and I didn't want to rework what I had already done. And yeah, so I just put a little bar up there, and I'm not sure what I'm searching for right now, but I just put a little bar up there, and I gave it a cute little like black and white and red theme. And at first I put a second restaurant podium and a second kitchen up here because I figured like, oh, they could also grab a bite to eat up here. But in my mind, I just knew like I already had a million and one NPCs occupying this lot in the state that it was in, because so think about it, like we have 4 cash registers in the ticketing and check-ins area. We have the coffee shop item in the coffee shop, and then we have a cash register in the bookstore. We have a cash register in the clothing store. We have a whole restaurant set up plus another cash register in the restaurant. And so I was like, that can't be good. Like that cannot be good news to try to load up in the game in live mode. So I do end up doing away with that extra restaurant podium, and I'm glad I did because it all worked out. And then of course we have the 2 sorry if you guys can hear my cat in the background tearing up my couch. But yeah, and then of course we have the 2 bars there. So what is that? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14. That's like 14 plus NPCs. And then there's the person in the kitchen. Yeah. Oh, okay. So here is, I believe, second to last piece of CC I wanted to mention in this video, and I will put a picture of the creators, the download page right here. And these wonderful Sims 4 to Sims 2 conversions were made by Ethan McGregor on Tumblr. I absolutely love these. I have been using these for a while. One of the few Sims 4 conversions I have that I use super often because I find myself making bars a lot in my like restaurants and clubs and everything. So I absolutely love these. One of my favorite pieces of CC that I have. These are included with the download, so no worries about that. And yeah, so I just added a few fridges, a couple sinks, just trying to make it look more like a full bar. And yeah, I don't know what got to me, but these lights just really stood out to me, and I thought they would look really nice up here, and they did, and I like it. So it's very bright, I know, but I really like it. These red chairs, I do end up making them black. Now looking back on it, I wish I just left the bar looking like this, looking like that, because I end up making the stools black and then adding red carpet underneath the bar stools. This is like, yeah, this is one of the few times where I'm looking back on this like I should have left it the way it was, but yeah, so I just add a few other little red accents, and I find it to be really cute. Now this little ball, that little doll that I put there, I'll give it a second, guys. That right there, I can't remember the name of it, but that little doll, it comes with 3 recolors in the game, like Maxis recolors. It has the so it has it with no pupils, it has it with 1 pupil, and it has it with both pupils. I use the both pupil versions, and I was just thinking, like, what is, like, does that mean something? Like, what is it with this doll? And apparently that is like a real thing from like real life, where, gosh, I wish I could remember the name of it right now, and I don't want to Google it while I'm doing my voiceover, but basically, I guess you get the doll and then you make a wish. When you make a wish, you paint the first pupil, and then when your wish comes true, you paint in the second pupil, and it's meant to be like a symbol of good luck, or like a good luck charm. So I thought that was really cool, and the way that they depict it in this game actually looks exactly how it does in real life. So kudos to Maxis. I really like finding little things like that. So then I added these parrot paintings. I just liked how the reds in it complemented the red in the bar. But yeah. All right, guys, so super exciting. These recolors are also some of my favorite and ones I'm most proud of. So if you guys peeped, one of these has Raven Planner on it. So consider this like Extraayogurt Easter egg in the Simverse. But yeah, so she's clearly, you know, doing a little sunglasses modeling. And then the guy on the picture is my tester sim, actually, for South Valley City. And he's living good right now, guys, but he just does all my play testing. So I did a sunglasses ad, and then I did a car ad, as you guys can see next to it, and then I also did a credit card ad. And these are just some common ads that I typically see in airports, you know, like the high fashion, like Prada ads, and then there's always a car ad in the airport, always. And then of course the credit card ads, because like, you know, travel rewards and stuff. So for the credit card ad, I created a little photo shoot area and like made a little room full of shoes and bags and stacks of clothes, and used that as the background. And it says shopping problem, get rewarded for your slip ups. And then I wrote a little credit card blurb, you know, like 5% cash back, whatever. And then for the car ad, I made a little like road with like trees around it, kind of like landscape. And then I took a separate picture of the most expensive car, because it looks really nice. And then I just edited it all together. And it says, I think it says for every drive, through every twist and turn, for everyone, the new Hunka 711, which is actually the name of the car. And then I wrote, I typed a little blurb, you know, typical car ad blurb. But yeah, I really adore these advertisements, and I hope you guys love them in your game too. I can see these being on like a billboard, honestly, too. But yeah, I was just so excited to put Raven on one of them. I don't even know why I'm so proud of her, and she's it wasn't even her choice, like. But so I just added a bunch of seating and some warm lights and some plants just to tie it all together. I think it looks really nice and cozy. When I looked up airport lounges, I mean, it's just a really nice big room with a whole lot of seating. So that's exactly what I tried to emulate. Wasn't too hard. I just used the same kind of theme from the ticketing and check-ins area, which that's why part of the reason why I decided to spend so much time on it, because I knew that whatever I did at the front of the build, it was going to carry throughout the whole airport and be kind of the theme of the airport for the non-shop areas. But yeah, and then if you guys caught that, I just replaced that bar with more seating and a fence. I just didn't like how closed off and blank it looked. And I added another terminal map. So yeah, your Sims can come up here and just relax and wait for their plane, and they can look out over the flight line as well. And I think it looks really nice. Okay, so from here, I start working on the gates. So over here, right here is gonna be the SimFlight Airlines gate, and there's the boarding screen that I made. The one over by the restaurant is the Plum Air boarding gate. So yeah, so I have never used this cloud wallpaper. Not that one, but this one. I've never used it before, but the way that it fits so perfectly for this build, I couldn't not use it. I thought it was perfect. Never did I think I would be using that wallpaper for something, but yeah, it looks really nice. And then over here is kind of tricky. I had to delete some windows to make room, just because excuse me guys, sorry, just because I ended up having to I'm so sorry, you guys. I feel like there's like an air bubble stuck in my throat, but yeah, so I had to delete some windows and squeeze that little plum air block there. And then it has its own special, like, different colored boarding screen. And then of course I wanted to make sure Sims would, you know, hypothetically Sims would be able to find their gate easily from anywhere in the airport, and added those logos sticking out. Yeah, oh my gosh, it wasn't even after I put all of these signs and chairs down that it really felt like an airport. It's when I put the carpet down that I was like, oh yeah, this is like a real airport. So I'm so just excited about this build. I'm beyond happy. I really took my time with it. You know, I'm really happy with it. So yeah, so the Plum Air gate is a lot smaller than the Simflight Airlines gate, and really that's just the way it is in airports. Some gates are a lot smaller, some are like really big. I don't know why that is, but yeah, not too far off of reality. So for the airport chairs, I decided to use these Glamour Life ones. I feel like they pretty much emulated the real, like how real airport chairs look pretty well. I know it looks a little bit crowded right now. I do end up deleting and moving around the chairs a bit. Added more windows to the edge there, and I'm just smiling watching this part, because this is the part where I just got so excited about the build finally coming together, and pretty much getting to really do the main part of the airport. Looks so nice. Yeah, so honestly, Sims weren't crazy about all the seating, and I don't blame them. There's nothing for them to do at the gates besides sit down. Oh my gosh, my cat is making so much noise. I'm sorry, guys. And she's getting a little bit too close to the power button on my computer. But yeah, the Sims weren't crazy about the seating area, but oh well, you know, who cares? But yeah, so I don't know, maybe if you wanted to, you could replace some of the boarding screens with TVs, or put TVs around. I'm not sure why I didn't put more TVs on the walls, but so yeah, I went with this kind of sad looking gray carpet. And I only say sad looking because it's gray, but it is exactly what this airport needed to give it the feel of an airport. It just wouldn't be right without it. And then I just added that same carpet to the two, I don't know what they're called, but the little connector things that they use to so people are able to walk from the terminal to the plane. I'm not sure what they're called, but I built two of those, and of course here I am adding a bunch of trash cans, and I built two of those. I'm now looking back and wishing I made them 2 tile rather than 1 tile, because that's where Sims kind of started to get a little bit jammed up, because they all were trying to make it onto the plane. But it's no big deal, like they end up figuring it out. So I placed the advertisements I made everywhere a bunch of times. I reused them with not a care in the world, because honestly, that's how it is in real life. You see the same ads posted over and over again. So I just felt like I wasn't gonna overdo it on myself and try to make 6 more ads just to have more variety. Like, no, I think I made plenty for this build. So here I am just placing them all around, making sure all the walls are covered with something, and not just to cover them with something, but because that is really how I envision it looking. And then I make sure to add plenty of lights to illuminate the walls and the seating area, and just making sure everything looks really nice and bright, especially in front of the quote unquote screens, the boarding screens, the departure and arrival screens, because obviously if it's a TV, or if we're pretending it's a TV, then it has to be very bright and illuminated. So yeah, I'm really fond of the fact that the whole back of the airport is basically nothing but windows, and then the front of the airport is it's just like stuff to do and shops and stuff. Yeah, so I think earlier in this video I mentioned how the exterior of the build wasn't that important to me, and it was more so the interior, and I'm sure you guys are seeing that now. Like I really went to town on the interior, and so the exterior was a little bit neglected, but I went ahead and added some baggage claim signs, and then here I am trying to figure out how to kind of direct the Sims down to the baggage claim and make it obvious of where the baggage claim is. This idea was okay, but I did not like, by no means, I did not want the back of the picture frame showing, because then it doesn't really look like a real sign. It just looks like a painting or a canvas. So that's why I was doing everything I could. Then there I am removing the restaurant stove and the restaurant podium really quick, and sorting that out. And then I do end up putting the baggage claim sign here on the rail, kind of more out of the way. So I think this is something I forgot to check when I was playtesting, but I'm pretty sure this makes it so like your Sims can't use the right side of the stairs, but they can use the left side of the stairs. So definitely don't worry about that. But yeah, I'm gonna let you guys continue to enjoy the build. I have been talking so much, guys. I'm so sorry. I just have, like, there's so much in this build and so much to talk about and so much to be excited about. So I will let you guys enjoy the build, and I'll be back. Okay, so really quick, if you guys are curious what the point of this little office back here is for, I don't know if you guys have had to deal with this, but whenever like your bags get lost or like delayed, or something might fall off of your bags, or like your bag was left unattended for too long, stuff like that, they keep all the bags in a little office like that, and then you have to go and talk to them about getting your bags back, or you just go there to set up having your bags delivered to you, if the bags did not make it to your destination on time. Hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, I've had to go through this twice, 2 or 3 times. It was really annoying, but yeah, it is nice to have that little office there. So that's where they keep unattended bags. So yeah, that's what that's about. And then also, I don't know if you guys noticed, the boarding screens are clipping through the ceiling. I do end up fixing that in the final lot file, but for some reason that is the only thing, the one single thing that slipped my mind during the build. So I do fix that clipping issue that just bugs me so much. And even in the screenshots, it shows them clipping through the ceiling. I hate that so much. You guys have no idea. But okay, so we're back at the plane. I covered everything in white, just full on white. That's it. I just wanted it to look like one piece. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, most planes are white, so yeah. And I used this Apartment Life wall covering for these little connectors, and I think it fit perfectly. Like, I actually do think that's what I would say that they look like that in real life, to be honest. So that really worked out. Some of the Apartment Life wall coverings really have me raising my eyebrows. Some of them are like interesting, to say the least. Of course, have to get under the plane, cover that with white as well, to make it all blend nicely together. This part can be really tricky because I have to use the shift key to get it all covered, just because I don't know how to explain it. It's just the way that the plane is built, really odd, and like there's no support, that I have to use shift for a lot of things. Yeah, that's the best way I can explain it. And then of course, having to deal with the ceilings of the ATC tower and of the overhang. It's like these little tedious, tricky things that I feel like really make the builds look more polished, but they are like very annoying to do. And yeah, so I'm just making sure there's concrete on the outside for the ceilings, and on the inside it's that same white tile that I've used, that I primarily use throughout the build. And then I just make the ATC tower just some light gray concrete, and I think it looks pretty nice. Sorry guys, I don't have a whole lot to say about these two pieces. It's pretty self-explanatory, but yeah, I do make the ATC tower a little workspace rather than just having all the action up at the very top. Like I said earlier, the second floor is more like ground control, and ground control handles like any missing baggages. It handles like personnel, like more stuff like that, whereas like at the very top, the air traffic control people handle the flights taking off and landing and taxiing and everything. But yeah, so I added some random columns on top, because if you've seen an ATC tower, you know there's a bunch of like antennas on top of it. So I just randomly added a bunch of oh, my phone's ringing, sorry guys. I just randomly added a bunch of columns, and I think it looked pretty good. So now we're inside the plane, and I went with this brownish grayish color. I really liked it. I think it fit well. And I also really love this blue carpet because it's not too deep blue and it's not bright blue. It's like a perfect neutral sort of blue. I'm not sure what I was doing or why the video stopped, but yeah. So something really lame and kind of funny is that I could not for the life of me find anything to emulate the control panel for the Pilot. I can't remember if I said that at the beginning of the video, but I'm saying it again. I couldn't find anything. So I end up using solar panels, and you guys are gonna laugh, but I needed to put something there. Like, I couldn't just have a blank, like, what's it called? A cockpit? I couldn't just have a blank cockpit. So I had to use something to fill that space. I end up using these little reclining chairs in like the gray color and light wood. I really, really like them. It looks nice. And then I added the flight attendant's kitchen back here. It's really simple, nothing crazy. Where they make, coffee and bring the snacks down. I should have added a little table to act like the snack cart. Yeah, I should have done that. So anyway, for some reason the cabinets back here, you guys are gonna notice, they look fine now, like as I'm putting it together, but in the end they would not connect anymore. I don't know what I did. I didn't do anything. Like, they would not connect. So, but just on the right side, the side with the sink. So like, you guys will notice that the counter is like, it doesn't want to connect with the other counter, even though it's connected right now. I couldn't tell you why or what that is, but yeah. So added two really simple bathrooms, just a sink, a toilet, and a little trash can, which is inaccessible, but I put it there for looks. And yeah, actually, I think the plane is really cute. I like it a lot. I cannot wait to know what you guys think of the plane. If you think it's silly or what, but I think it's funny. I don't mind at all. I think it's really funny. But yeah, and then I put full-size flat screen TVs in front of the rows of chairs. I could have downloaded the little mini TVs, but that's just another piece of CC I just felt like wasn't necessary. We can achieve the same effect with the full-size TVs. Then I added some phones because obviously that's how the pilot and the flight attendants and everything talk to the passengers. And yeah, so here's the part where I put in the solar panels. Just imagine, okay guys, just imagine, pretend that they're controlling the plane by touch screen or something, and this is their little touch screen contraption. I tried to add some open for business shelves to kind of clean up the bottom and make it look more like a actual dashboard. I don't know. It's better than nothing is how I feel. It's definitely better than nothing. So All right, so I added those little H&M curtains just to kind of mimic the like plain curtains that they have to separate each section. And they actually fit perfectly into the walls when you use Move Objects on, so I was really happy to find that out. And then I just went ahead and illuminated the overhead carriage with some lights. Really like how that came out, and then added some soft wall sconces to the main cabin. Yeah, I really like how it came out. I like it a lot. I'm glad I stuck with this idea and didn't use the original CC plane that was inaccessible that I had downloaded, but it was still really nice, don't get me wrong. But yeah, this is a lot cooler in my opinion. But yeah, we have, what do we have? Maybe like 30 minutes left of this video still, which is crazy. If you watch the whole thing, I'm curious, if you watch the whole thing, can you leave a comment and let me know? Because that is insane, even if you were just passively watching it, which is what I do a lot of times with long form content. And then like if I hear them say something that's interesting, I'll look over to the screen and watch for a while, and then I go back to what I'm doing. That's honestly one of my favorite ways to watch YouTube videos. Okay, so we're back at the ATC tower, and here is the break room kitchen. I added a couple little vending machines. I think it's really cute. And I purposely made it look kind of cheap. I don't even want to say cheap. I think bland or boring is a better term, because it's very officey. I was going for like office break room, corporate break room. Just added a few bulletin boards, and yeah, originally I wasn't gonna put anything in these rooms, but I just figured, you know, we've already spent an eternity on this, so why not just really finish it off. Here's a little bathroom I added. It's just one bathroom for the whole tower, and yeah, so All right, everyone, I'm back, and here are the cinematic shots. I just wanted to let you guys just watch the video for a while without me talking, but so here's the exterior. I like the I kind of like the gardening I did. It wasn't too bad, and I really like the addition of the airport sign. I feel like that really just topped it all off, and yeah, I actually love it. And then this little area right here, it just feels so nice. Like, I just love how it looks with the pickup and drop off signs everywhere, and then the sim crossing signs, and my little attempt at a crosswalk. And then here is the baggage claim area that we're seeing, the baggage claim sign. And then I used those South Valley City screenshots again to decorate the outside. And I feel like it looked unique and it looked nice. And then here's the ticketing and check-ins area that we're passing by. It just looks so nice, you guys. I'm very, very happy with this. Yeah, it was really fun to go through this. And as you guys can see, I was finally able to get cinematic shots inside because this build is so big, and I have a camera mod that makes the camera move slower and gives me a lot more freedom to move the camera. So we finally have cinematic shots on the inside. So yeah, I hope you guys love it. I really, really love how it came out. I was so proud of this. This was my little project for this entire week, pretty much, and over the weekend. Just taking my time with it and making sure everything is as perfect as it can be. This is crazy. I love this camera mod so much. It's Gun Mod's camera mod, if you guys are curious. I can put that in the description as well. Also, I know I showed you guys pictures of all the CC used and I mentioned everything, but just in case you don't watch the whole video, everything will be in the description. I'm always really good about putting very clear download instructions, all the links, everything, credits, everything that needs to be done. Just make sure you check the description. And if you're here just to watch the build, just to watch it, then I'm glad you made it to the end, and let me know what you think about it. Yeah, so here's the coffee shop. And here's the coffee shop again. I'm so happy with everything, you guys. I'm sorry, I know I keep saying it, but this brought me a lot of joy to build. And even more joy to see that it actually ran pretty well in my game. Then here's the elevators and the airport maps. Here's a VIP lounge, and as you guys can see, we're overlooking the plane, and you guys see the neighborhood deco that I added. So that airport deco was created by a creator on Mod The Sims called Cricket. That will also be in the description. I'm not going to put a picture just because it's going to get in the way, but yeah, a creator named Cricket on Mod The Sims. And I basically just use a combination of Maxis neighborhood deco and their neighborhood deco to create my own extension of the flight line. So it was really key because these big huge windows, I wanted there to be more for your Sims to see and look out onto. And here we are just traveling down the terminal. There's Raven. I'm so proud of her. And then here's the SimFlight Airlines gate. Yeah, there's a departure board. And I added some little phone stands, handheld electronic stands. This is the bar up here. I think it looks really, really cute. Nice little place for Sims to relax and socialize. I'm gonna have to try loading up this lot with and here's the ATC tower. I'm gonna need to try loading up this lot with the, I keep mentioning this, but I can't remember what it is. I think it's a cheat that allows you to have way more Sims visit a community lot. So I think I'm gonna give that a try and see how it looks then. And then here's that little connector, whatchamacallit thing that you go through to get on the plane. And then here's the plane itself. I changed the curtains to black instead of white because I felt like the white looked too like hospital-y. The plane is really spacious. That little overcarriage really adds to it. Then here's the cockpit, of course, with the solar panels. Yeah, I love this. This is my favorite part, just looking out over the planes. Oh, it's just so nice. So we're about to get into the screenshots. Here they are now. Once again, thank you guys so much for all the kind comments and the engagement. I love knowing what you guys think and knowing your suggestions. I promise I'm listening, and I'm trying to add one by one everything into my game. And yeah, I had a lot of fun building this. I can't wait to know what you guys think. Once again, everything in the description: download instructions, credits, links to everything, links to my recolors, everything. Check the description, please. Otherwise, if you're just here to hang out, then yeah, thank you for watching. There are a million more screenshots, and I am going to go ahead and leave the video here for you guys to see the rest of the screenshots. And once again, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.